This is the video series where I express my unhealthy obsession for some of my all-time favorite albums. While some other people may always argue about their favorite artist or album or band and how they're better than others, I just wanted to look at some of my favorite all-time albums and tell you how they shaped my identity and why you might like them too. While the ever-growing popularity of downloading singles and streaming songs is a consistent in today's music market, I stand by that there is still a necessity for full albums. In my experience, I have found the best music hidden within albums from artists who are featured on the radio. These hidden gems you have to really find though when you hear an album. By nature, radio can't play everything from an artist. That being said, there are some artists who may never get the full appreciation they deserve due to the fact that many people only know one or two songs from them, let alone have never heard the album those songs came from. And I personally think Days of the New is one of those examples. The self-titled album from Days of the New was released on June 3rd, 1997. Produced by Scott Litt, who also worked with R.E.M. and the Wallflowers, Days of the New is not the typical rock act, and when this album was released, the frontman, vocalist, guitar expert, and writer Travis Meeks had not even graduated high school yet. Travis Meeks was only 17 when this album debuted. The rock world quickly became accustomed to the Post-Grunge outfit with wild acoustic guitar solos and a voice that is so deep it stood up to the legends of Eddie Vedder and Lane Staley. Days of the New, or the Yellow Album, or Orange Album, or whatever nickname you want to give it, introduces you with style and substance from the opening track and takes you on a 72-minute journey. The opening track starts everything simply with the acoustics. It sets the tone for the type of album you'll be hearing and the structure of the songs. Shelf in the Room provides a good baseline between the harder and softer style throughout this track list. This song shows Meek's ability to be calm while singing as opposed to his full volume at other moments. The guitar work is fluent and everything is slow and steady. The vocals and lyrics are what set it aside in my opinion and showcase that not only does Travis Meeks have a great range in his ability, but he is a much deeper thinker and writer than many people may realize. Shelf in the Room is only a glimpse at his metaphorical and symbolic writing. This song reached the top 40 on the mainstream charts back in 1998. It was one of 3 songs on the album that made that same chart. The first song to chart was the next song on the album. This is the track that just about every rock fan has heard in their life, but many people have no idea who it's by. Touch, Peel, and Stand is the song that a majority of rock fans will identify with Days of the New. It reached the #1 spot on the Billboard Rock Tracks and stayed there for at the time record of 16 weeks. To me, this song embodies anger and frustration. It gives off such an air of being fed up and done with someone or something in a situation and not putting up with it anymore, just finally finding that passion to move on. The growling and groaning by Travis Meeks just adds to the imagery of seeing someone at the breaking point. The chorus is amazing. The vocals just become ingrained into your subconscious and it never leaves. The acoustic guitar work is so heavy and precise it's mind-numbing, and the cymbal bashing by Matt Tall creates this flurry of sound and higher-toned rhythm. Like many fans of Days of the New, this was my introduction to the band. It wasn't until years later after the album was released that I saw them live and then bought the debut album, but I have appreciated the opportunity of finding this album based on the single ever since. As this is the most famous song from the album and arguably from the band, it doesn't need much more explanation as most rock fans have already heard it. After hearing this track on the album though, it's hard to follow something that matches its intensity. Instead of trying to keep up at that pace, the album ends that energy and then begins something completely different.
Face of the earth. Face of the earth.
Face of the Earth is an anomaly for slower-paced songs. Where there are many tracks that pace down the rhythm, this song still has an effect of you where you are vividly enraptured by it. It may have to do with the metaphoric lyrics or Meeks' vocal range going from soothing to growling, but whatever the reason, this song does not lull you to sleep. This song is a good example of how Travis Meeks writes. It's in a dialogue format. Many songs by Days of the New give the air of someone talking to someone or something else, whether it's God, a loved one, himself, a group of people. Regardless of who it is, you see this theme often in Days of the New. You get the impression of angst and realization like from Touch, Peel, and Stand, but with more reflection and less anger. Musically, the guitar work is simple but played masterfully. The simplicity in the music complements the lyrics here. It serves its purpose well and they blend. Conversely, Solitude, the next track, has a different structure with the music and lyrics. Listening to You Are You over and over again is extremely hypnotic. The guitar sequence and how You Are You blends into the verses sounds almost haunting. At the end of the song, when the instrumental volume picks up and you get that small jolt of adrenaline before being calmed back down to Meeks' voice singing Solitude, behind one of the only instances of an electric guitar, you feel something special. I've met many people who own this album and say how much they love this song. It could be for many different reasons, but it's again that subtle change from soothing to growling in Travis Meeks' voice that captivates the listener. But almost every time this album brings down the tempo, it raises itself back up with a loud style. The Downtown proves that with the same style of energy that Touch, Peel, and Stand possessed. The third of the 3 radio singles from this album, The Downtown has that edge and intensity Travis Meeks is known for bringing out. Lyrically, it's another simple song, but it's that delivery of the chorus and how well the music is played, especially in the latter half, that draws the hook. The music video for this song was stripped from a live performance that was also on their live VHS release. They closed their show with the song and it's a smart choice. You really get the live and in-person feel when watching the stage performance. After The Downtown, I feel everything gets deeper in meaning. The remaining tracks of this album I feel are the songs that really speak as to the type of person Travis Meeks is and how his logic works. His thinking, his writing, his music composing. Everything can be summed up with What's Left for Me and Beyond.
Take some for yourself. It's all good for something. And when there's no more to give, the window will shine the lights.
The way the music blends in the second half of this track is what sticks out to me. It's the guitar strums and Travis's building volume and vocals until he ends up screaming the song title. The way the bass and guitar build into the intro of the song sets up a very brooding atmosphere. I have always imagined someone in my head completely broken down by themselves in a room all alone when I listen to this song. Someone who has given everything out of himself and received nothing in return and has nothing to show for it. It's intense, but that is a big reality for many people. Like I said before, I feel that the songs from here on out become deeper lyrically. It's shocking when you hear such imagery and sullen thoughts from an artist, but it's flat out astounding when you realize that Travis Meeks was only 16 when most of these songs on this album were written.
Your nose in my business, your ass in my space, your life is my problem, your foot in my face. I won't, I can't, I'm lost, I'm afraid.
Days of the New are subclassified in rock as Post-Grunge. With all the material you hear and the style that these songs are put out, it makes perfect sense why. Freak is an anti-social loner anthem. It's a song that starts out with simplicity and reflective statements about patience and feeling, and it turns angry. You can't help but feel for Meeks at the end when screaming, "I'm a freak." The brutal guitar work, the rhythm, the lyrics, everything flows for something so shocking and unnerving to hear. Funny story time. Back in high school on my sophomore year art class, I caught myself singing the lyrics to Freak from beginning to end in front of about 4 or 5 people. They thought I was insane. And yes, I did have trouble making friends in high school. So many songs on this album have memorable sequences. Whether it's a chorus or an outro or a solo, Days of the New's first self-titled delivers so many moments of purely superb, gritty rock. The chorus and end of Now definitely fit this example as well. That chorus and the last 2 minutes of this song are gorgeous. The emotion and style of Meeks' voice and every band member contributing to the sound just resonates with real natural talent in music. The drum work and cymbals again stand out, and the fluid acoustic guitars create the setting when you listen to it. One of the things I love about songs like Now is that it can fit many different moods. It can be intense and soothing, loud and soft, and just about every illogical dichotomy you can think of. I understand that music is up for interpretation and everyone will hear something different, but with songs like this, it's hard to ignore all the possible emotions when listening. As for songs that are too hard to describe though, Whimsical might be too many things to explain. It is undeniably one of my favorite songs of all time.
You can only take what I give of me. You can only win when I'm not afraid to love. To your mother.
I love this song. Whimsical is the best example I can find of how you can create an atmosphere in music with a guitar. Lyrically, Whimsical is ambitious. It's not just a song you can listen to casually. There's an instant connection with the song once you hear it and you can understand how Travis Meeks feels about his own life and self-realization. As strong as the lyrics are in this song, it all is equally matched by the music behind it, especially with the full-minute outro.
I stand above.
Going back to high school, this was also the first time my father and I bonded over music. He was taking me home from hockey practice and I had the CD player to tape deck attachment from that old tape deck in the Jeep Grand Cherokee he had. And we were listening to Whimsical, and when we got home, we just sat in the driveway listening to the outro of Whimsical. And my father loved it. I just remember really thinking that was the first time him and I really agreed on something musically. And I know there's pretty much no chance that he's ever going to see this anyway, but hi, Dad. There is a sense of peace in this song. Regardless of how loud the vocals get, the music just has a calming effect. The same can be said for many songs on this album. Everything in the second half of this album, though, feels big and sprawling.
Feel before you take it slow. Feel before you, yeah. Where I stand, where I stand, where I stand. That's where I stand, where I stand.
Where I Stand is another ambitious song, especially for someone so young. Giving analogies about life being compared to a board game isn't something that's easy to deliver, especially when incorporating growls and including full-range rock instrumental sections. By this point in the album, it's safe to assume that Travis Meeks is one of the most overlooked guitarists of the 90s. Just the structure and sequence in Where I Stand and other songs are so strong and nothing sounds jarring or out of place. Everything works. You were presented with many different sounds and emotions with just guitars and drums. From loud and angry to calming to rhythmic, it all has a unique identity. The songs have different counterparts and they flow into each other. Even transitions from Where I Stand to How Do You Know You, they fit like puzzle pieces.
How do you know you? Yes, I've kept the news from you. Yes, it's all in your mind.
How Do You Know You is much like Solitude in its hypnotic and repetitive style. The guitar playing is brooding and dark. It is as much a low-tempo, downbeat song that I can imagine. After years of hearing this album, I still have trouble when I hear the song and not being sucked into it. It's like a black hole that starts to pull me in, but once I realize what's going on, I dive head first into it. This album is not only one you can pick songs from to listen to at any time, but it also is one that should be experienced from beginning to end. From Shelf in the Room to Cling and the album outro, this album stands out as something to be remembered for all the right reasons. I could go into detail about all the horrible things that have happened to Travis Meeks and company over the past decade, including A&E's intervention and the short-lived regroup and live breakup, but this video is about the album itself. I got this album about 2001. I saw Days of the New as my first concert featuring another band, and they were the middle band playing at the Savage Center in St. Louis. It was then that it really started changing me, that live music and acoustic rock and things like that existed and were good. I didn't buy the album until like a year and a half after I saw them live, but it was worth it. And I remember picking it up when I was with my sister, and we listened to it on the drive back to her place. And I just remember playing songs over and over again because I couldn't even get past how some of them sounded. It was so natural. I think that's the best way to say it. Like, it was just pure music, and I loved it. And this album, to this day, still resonates with me because it has changed the way I think. My identity is based around lyrics and stuff like this that I listened to in high school over and over again. I know that I would not be the same person I am today if it were not for Days of the New's self-titled album. Everyone has their favorites. Whether it's an album, a soundtrack, a playlist, whatever, everyone will always be able to argue and praise their favorites. For me, I hold on to my favorite albums and think about the music on them a lot. Days of the New's first self-title is definitely one of them.